Hey, what's up everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new Star Wars Bandai model kit action figure review. Today we are looking at the 1/12 scale Boba Fett. So right here, this is the package, what it comes in. Of course, you have to build these model kits all on your own. I have built a few already, and I did a review for the Phase 1/Phase 2 Clone Trooper. And these are in the same scale as the Black Series, and they fit in pretty well. They're very easy to put together. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination an expert model builder, but I can put these together very easily and within a relative short amount of time. This one probably took me about 2 hours to build, and I was really taking my time making sure that the nubbins and stuff were really clean on the actual model. So this is the box that it comes in. You can see this is what the figure can potentially look like. I say potentially because all of this, all of the decals, all the dings and dents and scrapes and stuff on Boba Fett are not on the model kit at all. You have to put them there yourself. On the side here, we got another picture of Boba Fett. On the side here, we got another picture of the model as well as the Darth Vader model kit. And no glue required on these, so that's the other big draw of this line to me. No glue required, so they're all just snapped together, and they are, like I said, very simple to put together. Now for this review, I didn't put any of these stickers, and I didn't do any decal work, or detail work, I mean, on Boba Fett, because I'm going to turn him into a Death Watch trooper, but I figured I would just give you guys a look at what you get when you build it right out of the box. So we're going to take a look at the accessories the figure comes with, and then we'll take a look at the actual figure itself. All right, so first things first here, we get two fisted hands with Boba Fett. So if you want to have him punching or posed with a clenched fist, you get that option. And like I said, absolutely no details applied to these at all. But you can see the sculpting is actually pretty good, and they just plug in to the hand. No questions asked. It's really easy to take these off and put new ones on. Then you also get his pistol, which looks okay. It's not the best. Of course, this should definitely be silver. And I'll compare him to the Black Series Boba Fett later in the video to give you guys a good look at it. But honestly, for the price of Boba Fett, the model kit, it's not a bad option for a substitution of the Black Series Boba Fett if you missed out on him, because he is, once again, pretty valuable on the secondary market. And then here is his rifle blaster, which is two different colors. It's actually an olive green for the barrel, and then a just flat black plastic for the stock and the handle. It also has a nice little loop there for some weapon storage possibilities, which is a nice touch, and that's something that the Black Series figure does not have. Yeah, you can see the details are there. It's got good sculpt work. You just gotta paint it or put the stickers on or water decals on however you'd like, which personally I hate water decals, and I'm not really the biggest fan of stickers. And you get both options right here. These are the water decals, so you get all the necessary decals you could want for Boba Fett, and you get your two options here, although honestly both are not very good in my opinion. Okay, so for accessories, I mean, he comes with more stuff than he does with the Black Series, that being two fisted hands, but you get the same weapons with both figures. So now we're going to take a look at Boba Fett himself. All right, and here is Boba Fett out of the packaging, and as you can see, he's super clean. No scrapes, no dings. He does have some pre-molded dents on him, but overall, like I said, you're gonna have to do all the detailing and everything yourself, which some people are into. I definitely like making. I've been slowly but surely getting into it. This is gonna be my first project, turning him fully into a Death Watch Mandalorian. So I'm definitely going to take some pieces off, going to change a few things around, but for the most part, I'm just going to be repainting this entire figure, and that'll be my biggest project I've ever done in terms of customizing. I think it's going to be pretty easy to do. I don't foresee it being too terribly difficult because the Death Watch Mandalorians are really only two colors, but you could go crazy. The amount of detail or dirt or anything you want to put on this figure is completely up to you. And that's one reason I really do love the model kits, is you just kind of get to do whatever you want. And it's a lot of fun. You don't really regret it because these aren't very valuable. And putting together model kits is something I personally enjoy. I think it's a lot of fun, especially when they're pretty easy, like Boba Fett was. So now we'll take a closer look at him. We'll get him off the stand so you can see just exactly what you're going to be getting into with the model kit. So taking a close look, you can see this is all just colored plastic. There's absolutely no paint application details on Boba Fett whatsoever. And I honestly don't think it looks horrible. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for Boba Fett's armor to be super clean like this, but if you wanted to have a super duper clean version of Boba Fett, you can. And the molded plastic is really nice, really accurate coloring. And the sculpt work is pretty good as well. Definitely looks a lot like Boba Fett. You can see they even gave him his little ding there on the helmet. And moving down, it looks really good. The pouches and everything seem accurate. The knee pads, the wrist gauntlet stuff looks really nice. And you can see there's more details over there as well. The jetpack seems to be in order and also has some weird removable pieces, and definitely got to be careful with some of that stuff because it doesn't really stay on very well. And the backpack does have some mild articulation to it, which I'll show you later in the video. The cape is plastic on this Boba Fett, so I could see most people giving more credit to the Black Series for having the cloth goods cape, but I honestly don't hate this either. But you can see all the ruffles and everything, the belt, and all these details could be really brought out with just some simple Gundam marker application. You can see down at the feet here, looking pretty nice. I actually messed this joint up somewhat. It's supposed to look like that, but I accidentally put it in incorrectly, but it still works. It's still a functioning joint. So overall, I think the sculpt work, it looks really nice. Looks like Boba Fett to me. So now I will show you guys the probably biggest difference between the model kits and Black Series, and that is the articulation. So for the articulation, you can see that Boba Fett can look up straight forward. Can't really look up too far, but he can look down a decent amount. He has a double neck joint, so he's got one at the base of his neck and then at the base of his skull. So you can get plenty of side to side out of the head. And it does rotate all the way around, everything like that. So definitely has some pretty solid neck work there. The shoulders and arms can move out very far. You can see that, of course, it does create some big gapping, but you just got to play with it and work it around. The shoulder pads have individual articulation right there. So just work it out however you feel. You know, you're going to get plenty of movement out of it, and you can definitely hide the gaps for sure. I know some people have commented on my Stormtrooper review talking about the gaps. They're very easy to hide. You just got to pose them a little bit better. Well, that just popped right out, but it is on a ball, so you can get some rotation out of it, although, of course, it kind of doesn't work with the arm right there and the jetpack itself. But you do get double jointed elbows, which again look very gappy, but well, actually this one's that one just came off. Whoops. Double jointed elbows. I give you way more than 90 degrees right there. Looking great. He does have the little black pieces, his little strappy piece here, but it doesn't stay in very well, so I just took it off. Same thing on his holster right there. Got a holster to hold the other blaster in, but I just took it off because it was just more of a pain than it was worth. So there you go. The arm articulation is really, really nice. And of course, with model kits, you have to take apart the trigger finger hand to put the gun in. That's why he's still holding the gun right now, because I don't feel like messing with it. If I would say there's one thing that's annoying, it's that. It's kind of difficult to take it apart to put the different weapon in, so most of the time I just give him the one gun and leave it at that. The hands can rotate all the way around. Well, this one's the open hand, so it's a little bit more difficult, but you do get plenty of movement out of it. Not nearly as much as Black Series, but that's okay. And of course, You do get swivel, bicep swivel right there, so that is nice. And not really a whole lot of swivel down there. This feels like it popped out a little bit. That's the other thing you got to be careful with on the model kits, is the joints can pop out sometimes, so it does get a little annoying. Yeah, the arm articulation is definitely really nice, and for the legs, unfortunately, you can't really get them to kick out very far because of the arm pieces there. That's about all you really get, and that's with his foot on the ground. Of course, if you take these, did I say arm pieces? The storage pieces right here, if you take those out, you'll definitely get more articulation out of it. Yeah, you don't really get a lot of kick there. You do get double jointed knees though, and they work pretty well. There's nothing really inhibiting them, but that's just the range of motion you get out of it. As far as kicking out to the side, it's about as much as you get there. And moving down to the legs, the foot goes down about that far, goes up about that far, and there is a very slight ankle pivot, not too much ankle pivot. And I guess I should show the chest here. Fix the gaps right. Forgot to show the ab crunch here. Ab crunch goes forward just a little bit and goes back pretty much not at all. And the jetpack does have some slight articulation. It can go up and down like so. So overall, the articulation is pretty much the same as the Black Series figure. I think in some ways it's a little bit better. Obviously, in other ways, it is a little bit worse. Elbows are definitely an improvement, and the head neck articulation is definitely much better than Black Series, but the ankles and the hands and stuff like that are definitely not as good as Black Series. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at him right next to the Black Series Boba Fett, just so you can see how different the model kit looks fresh out of the box, fresh built, versus the completed Black Series figure. All right, so here they are, side by side. This is obviously the Black Series figure. This is obviously the model kit. And you can see that this model kit is actually a little bit taller than the Black Series Boba Fett, which, depending on who you ask, could be for better or for worse. I personally don't mind it either way. Oh, I forgot to mention, this also is articulated on the Boba Fett figure, the model kit, which is not the case on the Black Series, which this is the archive release. But you can see, obviously, the Black Series figure is much more detailed, of course, because it comes like this. Same thing with the gun. Everything about this figure has 10,000 more details to it, but you're going to be paying a lot more at this point in time to get the Black Series Boba Fett, whereas if you're a little tight on cash, you don't feel like spending the 50, 60 bucks Boba Fett goes for, I think this could be a good substitution, and with a little bit of paint decals can look okay. And if you're a professional model kit painter, it'll look even better. So that's kind of the size comparison and the difference between the two, just so that you guys can get a look. Like I said, I only bought this because I'm turning it into a Death Watch Mando, but yeah, just thought I'd show that off. So I'll give you some more scale comparisons here. Here he is with the Black Series Bosk and IG-88. Of course, IG-88's a little too small, but I think Bosk is still a hair taller, which I think in the one reference photo still checks out. I think that still checks out. And here he is with the 40th anniversary A New Hope Han and Bespin Han, and I think it still looks good. It still looks good. Boba Fett's just a little big. And then here he is with the Clone Trooper model kit and the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper. And you can see that the Stormtrooper is a little bit smaller, so he fits a little bit better with the Black Series, where in my mind I think this model kit Boba Fett is just a hair too tall, but he works in some instances. I think next to Bosk he probably looks the best. So overall, I think the Boba Fett Bandai model kit is pretty awesome for a model kit. Of course, the Black Series has this 100% in the details department, but I think the articulation on the model kit is in some ways a lot better. And of course, the model kit is a lot cheaper than the Black Series figure currently is. Now, if we got another re-release of the Black Series Boba Fett, which I think we will, considering this year is the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, We'll probably be getting a vintage retro carded one, and we are getting that carbonized release later in the year. But this, I feel like, is still a decent substitution, and of course, model kits are ripe for customizing, so if you want to have some customized Mandos, this is also probably the cheapest and easiest route to go. So let me know what you guys think of this model kit. Have you already built it in the past? Are you going to pick it up? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.